This is a short little video about consumer choice and individual demand. And in this video, we're going to be looking at how a consumer makes decisions about what to buy and how we can use that information to determine that individual's specific demand curve. In this situation, we're looking at Cookie Monster and his desire, his ability to buy cookies and milk. And we're going to basically say that Cookie Monster's decisions about purchasing cookies and milk are driven by three factors: the utility he gets from consuming cookies and milk, the price of cookies and milk, and his income. And from these three factors, we can determine his demand curve. So in this situation, we're going to say that Cookie Monster has an income of $13, that the price of cookies are $1, and the price of milk is $3. We also have his utility that he gets from each cookie and each milk that he consumes. And you can see that for both cookies and for milk, we have diminishing marginal utility. For each one he consumes, his utility goes down. So using this information, we're going to first figure out how much he's going to buy, and then we'll work up towards how we can get to a demand curve. So, in this situation, how much is he going to buy? Well, he gets differing amounts of utility from each good, right? Clearly, he really likes milk, more so than he likes cookies in terms of the marginal utility he gets for each item he purchases. However, milk is more expensive. So in order to figure out how much he's going to buy, we're going to use this idea here, that the marginal utility from each item equal to the price of that item. So we're going to look at the last item that he buys in each category, how much marginal utility he gets to the price that he pays. That ratio will determine it. And we're going to think about trying to find the marginal utility to price for cookies compared to the marginal utility to price for milk. So to figure this out, cookies, marginal utility, everything is in $1. So this marginal utility to price is already figured out here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing for milk, right? His marginal utility of milk over his price of milk. And I'm going to divide each of these by 3 to get to that. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 8 divided by 3 is 6. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. And so what you can see here is, right, marginal utility to price, right, divide by 3, right? Now I can compare these two columns and think about how he's going to spend his $13 to maximize his total utility. The way we're going to do this is we're going to imagine that Cookie Monster goes into the store and he starts buying each good one at a time, and we'll just figure out at what point will he run out of money. So if he's buying each good one at a time, he's going to focus on the goods that are going to give him the most marginal utility to price to start off. That would be a cookie. So he'll buy a cookie. Then he will buy a second cookie. He'll buy a third cookie. And then he's going to buy a milk. At this point, he has spent $9. He has $4 left. He can buy one more milk and one more cookie. And we can see he will stop buying cookies and milk when he has reached that point of marginal utility to price equality between the two different goods, and he has spent all of his money. We're assuming he gets no additional utility from saving money. So in this case, right, he will buy a quantity of cookies of 4. He will buy a quantity of milk at 3. How much total utility will he get? Well, his utility here from cookies, right, that's the 15, 12, and 9. That's going to get us to 42. And then for utility for milk, keep in mind, right, this is the utility he gets from each one. This is just utility over price. We're going to sum up these. 24, 11, 18. This will get us to 63. And if we put this together, his total utility will be 105. So that's how much utility he can get from spending his $13 based on, right, how he values these goods of milk and cookies. Now, this gives us our first set of measurement. Let's go to our next set of measurement and assume now that the price changes. The price of cookies has now gone to $2. Well, now at a price of $2, Cookie's going to have to reevaluate how he's spending his money. He clearly cannot buy as much as he used to, right? He's not going to be able to get to the 105 utility he had before. He will still seek to maximize his utility, it's just that it's not going to be as much. We know that already because he can't consume as much. So let's erase this for right now. And go back, we'll erase this, our choices. And now we have a situation where cookies are now $2. So what we need to think about now is our marginal utility of cookies over the price of cookies. And we'll put that ratio into this column here. So 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. And that's probably all we need to do here. Again, we're going to imagine that Cookie is going into the store and he is buying his goods one at a time until he exhausts his $13. Well, in this situation, he goes into the store, he's going to buy first a milk, then he's going to buy, at 7.5, he's going to buy a cookie, he's going to go buy a milk, right? And so up at this point, he spent $8, right? He has $5 left. That's enough to get one more milk and one more cookie. So in this case, because of the increase in price of cookies, he has reduced his consumption of cookies. No, he hasn't changed his consumption of milk, right? In this situation, right, the quantity of cookies that he has consumed has now gone to 2, and right, his utility from cookies, right, obviously has gone down. It's just the 15 and 12, that's 27. We know his quantity of milk has stayed the same. It stayed at 3, which means that his utility for milk has stayed the same at 63. However, we can see that his total utility has now gone down to 90. His utility has gone down, and again, that's to be expected because he's consuming less cookies. Now, here's the thing. We have some data now. Note that in the two situations I just went through, right, his income has stayed the same, the price of milk has stayed the same, his utility has stayed the same. The only thing that's changed is our price, right? We have a situation now where we have kept everything constant except for his price, right? And so now we can talk about the quantity of cookies that he consumes, as a function of his price, because we've kept all the other things constant. And if we look at our data here, when the price of a cookie was $1, quantity of cookies he consumed were 4. When the price of a cookie went to $2, the quantity that he consumed dropped to 2, right? We could actually graph this out. Quantity price, 1 and 2, 2 and 4. And if we connect our points here, you will see that we have figured out our demand curve for Cookie, right? The demand curve has come basically from 3 factors: his utility, his price, and his income. We held utility and income constant, we changed his price, and from that we could determine his relationship between the price of cookies and his demand for cookies. So that's where the demand curve comes from. One last thing to point out. Let me erase this. Let's assume that for some reason, Cookie's income changes. He now has more money, right? Instead of having $13, we're going to give him $4 additional dollars. Suppose he has $4 additional dollars, right? How will he spend that additional money? Well, we're going to assume first that he gets no utility from saving money, all right? If he has no utility from saving money, well, how is he going to spend that? Well, he could buy 2 more cookies. That would give him an additional 15 units of utility. Or he could buy 1 more milk and have 15 additional utility and also save $1. If he gets no utility from saving money, either 2 additional cookies or 1 additional milk, he'll be equally happy both ways. So which should he choose? He's kind of indifferent to it. All right? If we actually think about it, by changing his income and keeping the price the same, what we can look at is his, whether or not milk and cookies are normal or inferior goods for Cookie Monster. And we can see that if we increase his income, he will buy more of both goods, right? He will buy more of one or more of the other. He's indifferent to either one. Therefore, we could assume that both cookies and milk for Cookie Monster are normal goods. He buys more of them as his income goes up. An inferior good would be one where he would buy less of as his income goes up. And both of these appear to be normal goods. If we change our assumption, and we actually say that Cookie Monster gets some utility from saving money, then his choice will be to have an additional milk, right? Where he'll get the 15 additional utility and whatever else he would have from saving money, which would be greater than what if he spent all his money on cookies. Again, that all depends on how we shift the assumption, but even if we gave him some utility for saving money, right, his utility from his consumption would stay the same. Okay? So anyways, that's this.